Republican Congressman Peter King of New York is joining us. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us. Have you been briefed on this Shabaab terror threat against malls in the United States?
No, I've not been officially briefed. I will be tomorrow. I'll be back in Washington, and we'll be getting a briefing early tomorrow afternoon.
Well, when the Homeland Security Secretary, a man you know, Jay Johnson, who's a very smart guy, a lot of experience, used to work at the Pentagon, as you know, when he says Americans need to be, in his words, particularly careful in malls, what does that say to you?
Well, again, from what I know of these threats generally, I would say, first of all, Shabaab probably does not have the capability of carrying out an attack here by itself. However, they have cooperated over the years with Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, which does have the capacity. And I would just say that we should take it seriously. But on the other hand, I would say Americans should continue to do what they've done before. If they were going to malls before, continue to do so. Just be more alert. If you see something, say something. I would say the one area that has the most concern would be in Minnesota because, first of all, Mall of America was there. But secondly, that's where the large Somali American population is. And they've had well over 20 young men go from Minneapolis to Somalia to be trained, some for ISIS, even, actually about 2 or 3 for ISIS, but more than 20 for Al-Shabaab, and a number have been killed. In fact, the gentleman I saw on your show there before, Mr. Behe, he was actually a main witness of mine when I held the hearings on Islamic radicalization. And for a while, there was almost an assembly line of young men going from Minneapolis to Somalia, including his nephew. But people like him have actually tried to turn the community to make sure they cooperate more with the police and with law enforcement. But if there's any area that I think could be vulnerable, it would be the Mall of America because, again, if you just have 2 or 3 from that community, and there's been over 20 in the past, then, there is a threat.
We know that in this latest Shabaab video, they also made a specific threat against Westfield Corporation malls in the U.S., in Europe, elsewhere in Australia. And we know, we did some checking, there are 2 Westfield malls in your district out in Long Island. So what do you do about this? What are you telling your constituents? Do you think they should start avoiding those Westfield malls, or should Westfield malls start beefing up security there?
No, I don't. In fact, one is actually very close to my district office. Well, if they should continue to do what they've been doing, if they're going to go to the mall, go. I can tell you the Nassau County Police, the Suffolk County Police, work with the NYPD, with the state police, the FBI, the Joint Terrorism Task Force. They are doing all that can be done. And the reality is, Wolf, that the real security, yes, we have to have more security at the mall, but it's going to be intelligence that stops this. We have to have intelligence, whether it's surveillance on the ground, whether it's the NSA, doing whatever we can to get the intelligence to stop it. But malls, we've known for a long time that they are prime targets. They're harder to secure. But I know, for instance, police departments have done drills. They've gone through this before. They have, they are doing surveillance. So I would, again, we can't be giving in to these type threats. Now, if there's something more specific comes, then maybe, we'll have to adapt. But right now, I would say, I would urge my constituents to continue doing what they've done before. And if you're going to go to the mall tomorrow, go to the mall tomorrow. But I would urge them, if they see something, say something, and be fully cooperative with the police and security. If they're asked to do something, do it.
Would you recommend doing what they do at big malls in Israel, outside of Tel Aviv, for example, or parts of Europe, have metal detectors, police at the entrances going through handbags, checking to see if there's any metal coming in? Is that necessary in the United States?
Well, it's not now. Again, if we pick up intelligence saying that there are operatives in this country who are planning these attacks, then, we may have to make, again, adapt in certain locations, certain cities. But I would say no, we can't just, based on one video, change what we've been doing. And we've known since September 11th, 2001, that malls are a prime target. Department stores, any place you have Americans congregating in a relaxed setting, sporting events, we can go to movie houses, playhouses, all of those are targets. And what stops it is intelligence, having obviously surveillance, but also getting that intelligence to see if there's anything unusual happening, whether or not anyone might be coming here, whether or not there's been any unusual purchases in the area, whether or not people who are suspect have been acting in a different way. And that's why it's so important to have sources in the communities. That's why it's important for the police on the ground to have their, again, sources of information so they would be tipped off on something like this.
Congressman, we have a lot more to discuss, including the latest ISIS videos, what's going on in Syria.